If I could have your attention, please. We appreciate everyone being here this evening. This is a great turnout for a very awesome occasion, if I may use that word. We really appreciate the folks who have come here, the teachers who have been working all day and then coming here in the evening, our administrators who have been at our administrative leadership meeting today. We kept them all day and then asked them to come back this evening. Our chiefs are here. Special shout out to our board members who are here. If you don't mind to raise your hand. Sherry Barnes is here, Chairman Charlie Wise, Mr. Ben Seago, and Mr. Steve Bland. And they are very committed to doing great things for our district and for our students, so we greatly appreciate them being here this evening. We also have Mr. Lance O'Brien from Fort Knox over here, and we have Brenda Wetherington, sorry, Brenda, with us as well. And they are a huge part of this grant and why we are receiving this grant. So Hardin County Schools has been awarded a grant from the Department of Defense for the amount of $750,000. That grant will be divided between 4 schools. Yes, you can applaud. So part of that grant, we have some folks here who are kind enough to join us from other schools. Part of that grant says you have a certain % of military presence at your school. Your Fort Knox being a very close community involved base here is really important, not just to our community, but to our schools. They are very valued and appreciated. We also appreciate the opportunity to apply for a grant. Ruthie Miller is here. She wrote the grant for this actually in 2019. Sometimes you got to have a little patience. So we had a conference call in 2020 and are ready to kick off. We have Brandy New here, who will be the director of this grant and will make sure that we do everything that we said we were going to do, but only better than what we initially thought. So we greatly appreciate all of them. So if you'll give them a round of applause as well. Since John Dewey, in response to the Industrial Revolution, and to kick us off in the right direction with that discovery of innovation and networking and all the things that are required for us to make this be successful, we have partnered with Discovery Education. So we have Discovery Education here today, and they are going to lead us through this. There's an article, "This is not rocket science." Well, I got to tell you folks, great teaching doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of dedicated folks. It happens because of training. It happens because of the dedication they're willing to put into their training. So at this time, I would like to turn this over to Dr. Corbin from Discovery Ed, and he is going to be our guest speaker this evening and kick off our grant in the right direction of the great things we can expect to see for our students in the classroom at our 4 schools, but not only from those 4 schools, but those teachers will also share great ideas, great strategies with the rest of our district. So we're really excited. Dr. Corbin, we appreciate you being here. Thank you.
To be in front of real people. I'm actually having to resist the temptation to say, can you see my screen? It's so lovely to be in front of real people. So a very quick story. I know that I'm in wildcat country, maybe a lesser extent card country, maybe hilltopper country. Well, I had the privilege of being recognized early in my career. I come from K-12, 30-year career. Probably about 25 years ago, I was recognized as one of the teachers of the year for my county. And I was very, very excited because my colleagues had billboards. My colleagues that were also nominated throughout the Charlotte area where I live, Charlotte, North Carolina, they had billboards. And I was like, that's pretty neat, that's pretty cool. And so I got a phone call from one of the guys that I play basketball with. Been playing with this group for 30 years. Yes, I'm 60, I'm still playing basketball with these guys. He said, hey, Bob, did you know that your picture is actually on the tray liners of KFC and Bojangles? And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So look at my size. It's been now 25 years my friends have been making fun of me because all of the other people that were recommended for this award were on billboards, and I was on the trade liners of Bojangles and KFC. God love me. So then 10 years later, I go through and stop in Kentucky. I want to see the moon bow at Cumberland Falls. The person at the hotel sees my driver's license, and he says, "Oh my gosh, Corbin, you're in Corbin, Kentucky, you realize that?" And then he said, "You do realize that this is the hometown for Kentucky Fried Chicken, right?" I was like, oh my gosh, I can't get away from this, right? So I never did tell my friends, and I never will. So it is a privilege to be with you. Thank you so much. This is what we will do. Very quickly, we will talk about the Draw a Scientist test. We'll talk about why STEM, why us. We will do something called Footloose, Kevin and Bacon, a STEM. Talk about the importance of noticing wonder phenomena. We'll do a review of a resource that you all have access to called STEM Connect. My colleague will probably talk to you about that in a little more detail. Then we'll do reflection and follow-up. I will be dynamic. I will get you out of here at 6 o'clock. If you have to skip through some slides in order to end on time, that's what we will do. Please, if you are a person who uses social media, reach out. Tag me at STEMancipate and also tag us at #DESTEM. If you tweet, if you don't tweet, that's also fine. I will project this towards the end as well. How many of you have heard of Discovery Channel? Love that. Of course, you see a lot of hands. How many of you watch the Oprah Winfrey Network? Oprah Winfrey Network. A couple. How about Animal Planet? I love Animal Planet. It's so important to think about empathy, treating other living things with empathy. This is the one that alarmed me, men. How many of you watch Investigation Discovery? All right, friends, did you notice how many ladies raised their hands? What is the focus of ID? Does anybody know? What's that network about? It's about murder, pretty much. It's about getting away with murder. You know the target audience, friends, is ladies between the ages of 35 and 55 who are married. Leave no doubt, friends, that your wives and girlfriends are plotting to kill you.
That's why he's way back there. Now you know.
Exactly. So know that we are a network of networks. These are the assets you will have access to as a consequence of our partnership. Pretty cool stuff. We are in 140 plus countries. We serve 4.5 million educators, 45 million students. I'm actually on the international team. So we serve school districts, ministries of education all over the world. But what's most important to say is we recognize that students and educators are at the center of all that we do. Community, corporate partnerships, teaching teachers, very, very important. Instructional materials are important. Corporate partnerships important, but most important is you see student and educator at the interstices, at the intersection of all of that. So, very quick video. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. We have a little bit of time to prepare kids.
So tell me, why should we hire you?
I have 2 kitty cats. Why 2? Because I got stuff I can do. I like playing in my treehouse. I like ponies and lip gloss. I do a pretty good job. I can't really talk about it. My mommy got married to my dad before I was born. Yeah, because my middle name is Rose. Mom, please. Would you like some lip gloss? I have some in my purse. I have a wrap in my tights. I leave it right here. I can be your security. I'm kind of a star at being in love. Yeah. I don't have anything else. I like chipmunks. Oh, I have one more. What are the hours? I have a tight schedule.
Tomorrow's jobs are in science, technology, engineering, and math. Good thing you have a few more years.
So I love that. So the premise is that is an interview, and the idea is the kids are adorable. We need to help them with their interview skills, but pretty much adorable. So as part of my PhD, I used an instrument called the DAST. Anybody heard of the DAST, the Draw a Scientist test? I'm going to ask you to call out. If I would ask you to draw a scientist, what would we see in those drawings?
Lab coats.
Lab coats, yep. What else? Did I hear men? Somebody say men?
Flasks.
Flasks, yes. Apparatus. Anything else?
Goggles.
Yep, goggles. Anything else?
Smoke.
Smoke, no doubt. Unidentifiable fluids coming out of glassware. Right? So I'm just going to show you. So believe it or not, this is not an atypical drawing. We have work to do in identity in STEM. Take a look at this drawing, friends. Here's a man with an abnormal growth in his head, getting prepared to cleave a snake. There are other animals in queue, and there's a leg, a human leg, in a boiling pot of water. This is not atypical. This is what a high school student believed scientists do. This one is like the unfortunate cartoon called Beavis and Butthead. You remember that? Right? I don't even know what that mess is around the mouth. I would never let this guy babysit my kids. Right? Take a look at these drawings. You see the trend. People doing diabolical things. Yes, the apparatus with smoke. Here's the great news. If you integrate these dispositions into your instruction, which is what Discovery does so extraordinarily well, you will see transformation. Right? So I did pre-DAS and post-DAS. Take a look at the drawings after I deliberately integrated these into my instruction among 6 quote-unquote underperforming elementary schools. Watch what happens here. One-to-one correspondence. Remember the guy with the abnormal growth in his head? Yes, the halo's a bit much, right? But other than that, look at that. Normal hygiene, not doing anything diabolical, right? Pretty compelling, transformative. I love this one. Jane the scientist who said, do not take if you're not Jane. Exercising authority over the apparatus of STEM. This one says a scientist can look like a regular person. A scientist can be a woman. Periodic table in the background. This one's powerful as an educator of educators because look at what she says here. Good morning, class. Hola. Spanish-speaking student who feels not only she can participate in STEM, but she can teach it, right? You get the idea. If we just got kids to do this, contemplatively stand by the edge of a stream, curious about what's in the water, you have this whole thing resolved. Powerful stuff. Another example. What matters here is identity, representing self participating in science, technology, engineering, and math. So it's important to say this. STEM teaching and learning is not for a particular group of people. This drives me nuts when I encounter a teacher who says, yeah, we do STEM. It's a club for the gifted after school. No, STEM is for all kids, regardless of zip code, regardless of class, regardless of ethnicity. And this book is for all people. It's for all of us. All right, so I'm going to ask you straightly to get up. We'll do this in a very, very short period of time. I'm going to play a bit of music. When the music stops, I want you to discuss with one another the question that you see on the screen. Okay, friends, what should a classroom preparing students to be career and college ready look like? Talk with one another and assign a person who would be willing to share. Talk with one another. What should a classroom preparing students to be career and college ready look like? Who has talked about something they are ready to share or you need more time? By show of hands, show me if you need more time. You can go like this for 1 minute or 2. I don't see any hands, so we don't need more time. So I'm going to reach out and identify someone if you don't volunteer to share what you talked about. Who's going to be brave? Please and thank you.
Organized.
Okay.
The classroom should be organized. Not like a group of members here we discussed. Do you want to?
Set up for collaboration.
Yes.
Set up for collaboration. I love that. The 4 C's. They said that the classroom should be organized for collaboration. One assumes creativity, communication, and critical thinking as well. Awesome. That is a fantastic answer. One more, please.
We said the classroom should be inviting and all the students should feel like their voices heard so that they're comfortable enough to make mistakes.
Love that. Yes, fail. First attempt in learning is what FAIL stands for, right? Love that iterative thinking. All right, let's do it one more time. Get ready. You're going to move again. When the music stops, you stop and talk to the people near you. Go ahead and go again. Okay, how can you utilize your community and help your students prepare for their future? How can you utilize your community and help your students prepare for their future? Okay, friends, volunteers. A couple of people volunteer what it is you talked about. We'll be brave. I believe in Socratic thinking too, so we will wait here until midnight if you don't volunteer. Did I hear somebody? Here we go.
Project-based learning, what we were talking about today, find something that's happening in the neighborhood, ask the mayor, how can we go about fixing this pothole that my bus runs over every day? What can I do? Let's solve this problem.
I promise I did not plant her. That's an amazing answer, right? A local problem that is of significance to the kids to solve. Love that idea so much, and I'm going to hold off to talk about that later, but that's one more volunteer, please.
We talked about not pigeonholing you in the community you can invite in, like as a science teacher, just thinking about scientists, but how science touches almost every career and go outside the box for careers that you can invite in.
Love that. So not only does it touch everywhere in the community, but it is also cross-disciplinary as well. All right, one more question. You're going to walk around when the music stops. You're going to talk to the people closest to you. Here we go. Okay, what do you need to do STEM in a classroom? What do you need to do STEM in a classroom? Let's hear from one or two volunteers who have not spoken yet. Who will volunteer?
We said that a lot of people assume you need a lot of materials, but you actually just need good discussion and the kids to be engaged.
I love that answer. Again, I did not plant this person, but thank you. One more. Be brave. Thank you so much.
We talked about how it needs to be more student-centered instead of the teacher talking about anything.
Love that. Okay. Well done, friends. You guys clearly have a leg up. Let's go forth. Okay, if you will, return to your seats and we will continue forth. Okay, friends, I want you to take no more than 1 minute. I want you to talk with your colleagues about where the mass of a tree comes from. Where does the mass of a tree come from? Talk to your colleagues. I'm giving you 1 minute. Okay, this one is a little more difficult to be brave. Raise your hand if you want to be brave and give your best answer. What do you think? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, you.
Yeah, what do you think?
I thought I just got to raise my hand.
Do you have an answer?
Yes.
Okay, what do you think?
Most of the mass of a tree comes from carbon dioxide out of the air.
Oh my gosh, I have to congratulate you. So I do this all over the entire country and the world. You're a stone cold nerd. That's great. And that's a compliment. That is not a pejorative. That is a compliment. Well done. How many of you, okay, be honest, how many of you actually used that answer, talked about that answer? Yeah, nobody, one other person in the room? Fantastic, that's fantastic. I'm going to show you the most popular answer to the least popular answer, and this is among all levels of educational attainment. So take a look. Most popular is usually soil, then seed, then acorn, then sunshine, oxygen, water, a combination of all those. Then we finally get to the most correct answer, right? What do you think the chances are that we can address air quality if we have, you guys are highly educated leaders in the community, and this is the same all over the country. What do you think the chances are we can deal with air quality if we have a group of leaders who don't know carbon dioxide is the source of the mass of trees? This is not meant to embarrass you, by the way. Let's be really honest with each other right now. How many of you really care where the mass of a tree comes from? One other nerd and myself and another, right? 3 nerds in the room care. Have I given you a reason to care? Would your kids care about this? We have some work to do in science and in biology, right? Photosynthesis is perhaps the most important process on Earth, and we have a whole generation of people that do not know that answer, right? So it's alarming, and we've got to change the way we do things. Okay, so why don't we know this answer? I'm going to give you an example. So I'm going to ask you to use a spotlight on strategy. By the way, the Footloose was one of those. You have access to 120 of these strategies which get kids talking, moving around, engaged in learning. This one's called AEIOU. I want us to focus primarily on the emotion when I show you this next video. So you can also think about an adjective, a descriptive word, an interest, an O, and an So take a look at this video. I hope you love it as much as I do. And I want you to tell me whether you think kids might be a little more interested in photosynthesis as a consequence of exposure to this asset.
Over the last few years, I've been focusing my attention on biotechnology and on the new field of biomimicry, which basically is this new field of science and engineering where you get inspired and you work on mimicking natural technologies. We as humans should really, we can gather a lot of value from harnessing these natural technologies. And firstly, I think photosynthesis is one of the most important ones, no? 2 years ago, I founded a company called Arborea, where we basically invented a new bionic leaf that basically is a complex system of electronic mechanics and biotechnology to cultivate and harness photosynthesis out of microorganisms, so living microorganisms. We basically make bionic leaves to clean up the atmosphere from carbon dioxide and air pollutants and convert these, thanks to sunlight, into high-value chemical materials, chemical compounds, and breathable oxygen. These bionic leaves are very adaptable, and we can apply them on land or even on rooftop of large industrial buildings or commercial buildings, or also on facades of buildings. For my residency at the VNA, I proposed on how I could bring these novel biotechnologies from a more industrial or architectural realm into the domestic environment. So going around the VNA and exploring the VNA collection, I got intrigued by for making the world's first bionic chandelier. I've been inspired for the design of it mostly from the Islamic art, where you can find a great example of mixing geometry together with natural patterns like flowers or vegetation. Exhale, this bionic chandelier, it's composed by 70 leaves modules. We have to maintain a fairly complex hydraulic and mechanical system to basically make the microorganism happy, to let them photosynthesize at the best way for as long as we can. So a lighting piece that can purify the air indoor by absorbing carbon dioxide and exhaling oxygen into the room. We basically can see that every little detail is there because there is a reason. So if it's that little brass piece, it's because it needs to hold the structure, but as well the structure holds the leaves but brings as well the water and the media around.
Okay, so chat with the colleagues at the table. How did it make you feel? Do you have a descriptive word? Do you have an interest, like that makes me interested in? O means, oh, wow, I didn't know this. And means, I have a question. Chat with one another for a minute, and then I'll call upon you to volunteer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mine went to like a classroom in school. Like getting those in there versus the air, you know, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? All that could be very interesting.
Okay, friends, I know I'm pushing you along. Who would be willing to volunteer to share a discussion you had at your table? Who would be willing to volunteer? An emotion, an adjective, anything? That is the most important word, in my opinion. Yeah, hopeful. We have opportunity to think about how to deal with air quality. Any others? Yes, please.
Curious.
Curious, that's a key word as well. Get kids to be hopeful and curious. I want to ask you this question now so we can move forth. In what subject area would it be appropriate to show this video? Brilliant response, yes. And also, do you notice that this video implies something to do about a problem? It implies design. It's not, where does the mass of a tree come from? It implies something to do, a problem to solve. Powerful, right? And this is the sort of asset that you'll have access to. Love this quote, can't help it, this is the nerd in me, the literary nerd in me, Whitman. And if the body is not fully as much as the soul, and if the body were not the soul, what is the soul? We leave out the affective domain in our teaching. How kids feel matters in science, technology, engineering, and math. It matters. The affective domain. Did anybody feel anything when you looked at that video? I heard cool. Did anybody say, wow? Yeah, we can do that. It's a high aspiration, but that we can do that in our teaching. I used to be the vice president of a science museum called Discovery Place in Charlotte, and I used to walk around and observe programs. This is a kid who's watching me set up a plasma ball. Have you seen these plasma balls? You plug them in, you can see electricity. Watch the kid's response after I touch my wrist on the plasma ball, and he sees it pulsate. Watch it. This is a high aspiration, right? But this is where we are trying to go. And I have a son, Elijah. He's studying computer science at UCF right now. He doesn't call me and say, Dad, I'm so bummed out because my teachers are not preparing me to be competitive in the world. What he says is, I want to do things that matter. I want to collaborate. I want to have fun. I want to do things that actually make a difference. And so that is what STEM is all about. So tongue-in-cheek, how many of you teared up this morning when you were having breakfast with your coffee, with your significant other, because you were reading a scientific journal? Me either. Your kids care about the same thing that you care about. A beautiful book, beautiful music, making a difference in the world, right? This is what STEM is all about. All right, another question that I'm going to ask. Does anybody have an 8.5 by 11? Here we go. Very quickly, sorry to disrupt you here. Very quickly, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to hold up 2 cylinders very quickly. It's obvious, so we won't spend much time on it. Which one would contain the greater volume? We'll call this one lengthwise. We'll call this one widthwise. If we were to put masking tape on the bottom, fill it up with rice, which one would contain the greater volume? Length or width? I love this, where people look at me like, oh, please don't call me, please don't call me, please don't call me. That doesn't change from when you're in kindergarten and first grade. It never changes. What's the obvious answer? Majority of you are saying the same. 99% of audiences say that, regardless of educational attainment, and guess what? They're wrong. They're not the same. And so this indicates we have work to do in mathematics as well, right? So take a look at part of the answer. By the way, I do this to show that STEM dispositions are lacking. We need to help kids to be curious, to solve problems, to think critically. Pi r squared times height. The radius of the circles differs, right? Take a look. And it's a squared term, right? Do you remember radius, the distance from the center of the circle to the edge? That's a different radius from this one, right? Again, my question for you. Do you care? There's no reason to care. There's no reason to care. What if I said to you, I need you to design a vessel that will transport water to people that are living in arid parts of the world? Do you now need to know the volume of a cylinder? This is what we do extraordinarily well through a resource called STEM Connect that you will have access to, provide purpose for numeracy and literacy. The other thing that you've noticed that I've depicted this evening so far is the importance of dialogue with one another. We have got to encourage kids to chat with one another and with the instructor. Colleagues to do exactly the same thing. This idea is called Q value. It is represented in a book by Jonah Lehrer. The fundamental truth is the more diverse a group solving a problem, the more robust the solution every single time. There are lessons to be learned here on how you put together your departments, how you put together your schools, how you put together your committees, how you do small group work with kids, diverse voices. STEM is a culture, not a class, by the way. We say that explicitly to be invitational. We call STEM students and teachers energizing minds. We want kids to be able to enter in. We do not want to exclude them. If we called physics, physics, that excludes a tremendous number of people, right? So let's call it students and teachers energizing minds and allow them to enter. Here are the other reasons why you don't know some of the answers to those questions, and I'm not picking on you. Nobody does, including me. Until I read about it, I didn't know either. We still teach 90 minutes of math separated from 90 minutes of history, separated from 90 minutes of art. And the reality of the world, as COVID has taught us, is this. Is there any doubt in your mind that the world's most complex solutions require interdisciplinarity? We're going to have to use psychology, sociology, mathematics, the ability to do science, to engage with formulas, to engage politically with one another. If we're going to solve this problem, it requires that point of view. Okay, I'm going to see if we have time. Yes, I think we do. Has anybody seen this video? Okay, this is the consummate video, I think, on why.
It's called How Do I Know? And a lot of times when people hear the phrase, how do I know, the next thing they say is what? How do I know what? But the key really isn't to know what, the key is to know why. Because when you know your why, you have options on what your what can be. For instance, my why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. My what is stand-up comedy. My what is writing books. My what can be going out with some friends to eat. In fact, another what that has moved me towards my why is a web series that we have out now called Break Time. So every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, you should subscribe to the channel. We do a series called Break Time on YouTube. So 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode. One episode in particular, I'm about to show you a clip to. We were in Winston-Salem. So break time, this is how it works. I travel the country, I do stand-up comedy, probably an hour, hour and a half at an event. And in the middle of my show, I'll just sit down and start talking to the audience. And funny just happens. Or I'll meet somebody who's really interesting. So I met this one guy, and he said that he teaches music at a school. I was like, all right, you teach music, you know, can you sing? And then I'm just gonna show you the clip. Check it. So you're a musical director. Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That bro could sing. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, what you give me the version is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Right now I'm found, was blind, but now I see.
So here's the thing. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time I asked him to sing, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what has more impact because you're walking in or towards your purpose.
So that is widely applicable. That's a drop the mic moment, in my opinion, right? It's about how do you tap into your passion, right? It's not about the rhetoric of fear. STEM is not about the rhetoric of fear. It's not about, hey, you need to get this job so you can get paid. It's not about, you need this to survive. This concept in Japanese philosophy called Ikigai, it's so powerful, and I've already heard that you're embracing it here. The idea is find something you're good at. Find something you're passionate about. Find something that involves what the world needs and for which you can be paid. The intersection of all that is called Ikigai, right? This is how we guide kids. Guide kids to pursue their passion, find things they want to do, what they can be paid for, etc. So yes, allow your passion to become your purpose, and one day it will become your profession. And friends, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. It's not necessarily a 4-year degree with $100,000 to $250,000 in debt. Sometimes it is a career. Sometimes it is the military, right? It's not always a 4-year degree. So a lot of the work that we do is based on the UN Sustainable Goals and the grand challenges of engineering. Have you heard of these? These are really important. The foundation of STEM Connect, these are the problems which, if not resolved, are existentially a threat to humanity, to our existence. Fresh water, how do we generate energy, what do we do about poverty, zero hunger, etc. These create the purpose for numeracy and literacy. I've talked enough, it's time to get you involved. I'm only going to give you 7 total minutes. How many of you have heard of the supply chain issue that we currently have in the country and in the world? A little relevant right now, right? So, we actually have shipping containers that are stacked up in ports all over the United States that are not being released. So, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. How do we actually remove shipping containers from ships now? How is that done? What's done? What tools and so forth are used? Yep, cranes, 100%. And high-powered electromagnets. All right, so take a look at this scenario. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. It's a significant challenge. We're going to imagine shipping containers are now made of plastic. You can no longer use magnets. And if you used a hook on a plastic shipping container, what would happen to it? It would be crushed. Okay, so I know it's the evening, but I'm going to ask you to brainstorm a solution. You have to design a tool using your shipping containers, which are red Solo cups. All of the tools that you can use to design your tool are within the shipping containers. You're going to be asked to stack the shipping containers. You are not allowed, once you have designed your tool, to touch the shipping containers. So you'll have 5 minutes to build your design. You can design the tool. Once you design the tool, they can touch the cups, but you cannot. You'll then be given 3 minutes to actually stack the cups. Have fun. The question was asked, can you use the masking tape? And the answer is yes, you may. I want you to think about what the most valuable resource is in a shipping yard. That is actually space, right? So you want to safely stack these containers as high as you can without endangering people by them tipping over and killing them, right? need to stack. The most valuable resource in the shipping yard is space. Every shipping yard in the entire world is space.
So we need to use our materials to do something like this. Okay. Something like that.
Yep, with your tool. Some people think that looking around the room is cheating. I call that innovation. Take a look and borrow and smash together the ideas of your colleagues.
Can't touch the cups. So we didn't touch that.
Did you do this? Cool. Sometimes. What'd you do?
We need to like take all this down, like keep all our containers down. We're trying to stack them, correct?
Yes.
Together.
You guys have heard of Occam's razor?
I got a group that's submitting a tape, so they've been robbed.
Occam's razor is the idea that sometimes the very simplest solution is the best one. Love it. Love it. Okay, I don't want to stress you out, but you should be pretty close to trying to stack by now. Your tool should be pretty close to being done, and you should be stacking.
That makes sense. I thought we were stacking.
I'm so confused. I think I gave a group the wrong thing. Ooh, I like that. Huh?
To me, that is a pyramid. To make a pyramid, or do we just stack them? High as possible to me would be a pyramid because it's totally stacked up, right? Your assistant just needed.
Okay, friends, I think I'm going to give you about 2 more total minutes. 2 more minutes.
Have we started the challenge yet, or are we still building?
Yes, yeah, your action should be going. A great question was asked. You should be stacking by now. You should be in part 2 of the challenge. Part 2 of the challenge now. You should be stacking now.
Should be stacking.
Okay, that works too. As high as possible, we make a pyramid.
Okay, friends, I'm so sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but we're going to count backwards from 10. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Everybody stop stacking. Okay, I've seen some incredibly innovative ideas, drawstrings, simple solutions. Take a look around the room. Okay, so here's what I'm going to ask you to do now. I want you to stack all the cups back together because adults are no different than elementary school kids. You'll want to tinker with it for the remainder of our time together. So take them back down, put them all together, and we will continue forward. So while you were doing that, I want to say to you that the people that I said I did not plant, simple materials. You can do STEM with simple materials, right? You can make it relevant. You can reside within the 4 C's. These are the sorts of questions I would ask kids to make sure that we are focused on communication, creativity, collaboration, and communication. So I want to point out a very, very important difference between adults and students here. Take a look at what happens when adults design. And I'm not going to point out groups and embarrass anybody, but take a look at what adults do when they're asked to do a design. Look what they do. They talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Design something and then it fails. And then what do? They talk and talk and talk and talk. Design, fail. Talk, 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 design, fail. Look what kids do. Design, fail. Design, fail. Design, fail. Design, fail. Design, fail. What happens every time you design and fail? Exactly. Instantaneous feedback and you learn. Adults tend to embrace analysis paralysis. Right? This is a really important concept. Rapid prototyping is something you should be encouraging your kids to do. All right, one last experience I wanted to talk to you about. The importance of noticing. The importance of tinkering, wondering, noticing. Wonderful book by Walter Isaacson on Leonardo da Vinci. The purpose of this book is not to make you feel dumb or to make you feel like you couldn't be Leonardo. It's actually the opposite. This book says we have Leonardo in all of us. In his codex, in his notebook, did you know that Leonardo had more than 30 drawings which depict the properties of water? 30 different drawings that depict the properties of water. He did not know it at the time, but those drawings would show up in his work later. Anybody guess or see where that shows up? Look at the curls of the hair of all of his subjects, right? This is an important thing to think about. Noticing, wondering, curiosity, sometimes we don't need to see the immediate application. Sometimes we can suspend it. So quickly, I want you all to have this opportunity. I want you to practice being Leonardo. Share with one another descriptive words, properties, behavior, and cross-cutting concepts, because I want you to recognize that we are all Leonardo. So enjoy this and chat with one another about these descriptive words. Okay, friends, 30 seconds, talk to one another, and then call them out. What are the descriptive words you'd like to share? I heard somebody say calm. Anything else? Flowing. I heard flowing. Any others? Say it again. Erosion. That's an earth science teacher. Love it. Okay, you get the point. So where do we need to go to embrace and find phenomena? Anywhere. Thank you for that. Here's another one I want to show you very quickly. In your kitchen, in your garage, in your yard, those that are familiar with chemistry are going to know this one. Watch this. This is my son, by the way. He got voluntold. Poor children of educators, right? This is Elijah.
Hi, it's Elijah Corbin, and for the experiment today, all you're going to need is a plastic hanger and a wool hat or scarf, anything wool. So to do this, you're going to need to put the wool, whatever you have, item around the plastic hanger. You're just going to have to rub it a little bit, kind of create a little bit of static electricity. And once you do that for a little bit, we have a little running water here. Once you do that, enough, you should see the water start to bend a little bit from its normal track.
Wonder, phenomena, curiosity is where you find it. Imagine if Leonardo's kindergarten teacher had said, Leonardo, stop drawing helicopters. We're never going to have helicopters, right? We have got to help our kids to embrace imagination, embrace what is possible. So important. And we need to prepare our students for these jobs. It is habits of mind, right? How many of you have heard of a big data architect? How about an iOS developer? How about a cloud services specialist? How about a data scientist? These are all jobs who are increasing manifold, right? We need to prepare kids for the habits of mind. How many of you know that we will have Domino's delivered to our homes within 5 years in this way? This will happen, right? It's already happening in New Zealand. You're going to have drones delivering pizza. Take a look at this kid. Tell me if you think he is successful. Take a look at him. I heard probably. Friends, if I see this kid on the way to Bowling Green tonight with a sign, I'm pulling over and giving him a minimum of $20. He's taking a risk. He is being iterative. I think what's happening here is people are touching his hair without permission in the grocery store. And he said, I'm going to try this out and see what happens, right? I'm going to make some money. We got to help him on his scowl, right? We're going to help him with his game, interfacing with the public. But other than that, he's doing everything we want from kids. Growth mindset. He may fail, but he's getting instant feedback. But he's being entrepreneurial. First attempt in learning, right? He may fail, but he's going to learn. So this is where we want to go. All right, I have to share this with you. How many of you have been in a departmental meeting or a leadership meeting where you heard these words come out of somebody's mouth? Yeah, we could do that. That would be really cool. But we could get Chromebooks for everybody. But we could go on this field trip. But this gentleman, Dan Rustard, he invented the yes, but chair. The yes, but chair, when it overhears you say yes, but, it has audio recognition. It delivers electrical voltage to your buttocks. When you hear yes, but, remember that voltage chair. All right, so we're going to move past this out of interest in time. I'm going to show you one of the resources very quickly that I'll call Kyle up to give you a little bit more. STEM Connect is a resource that is a K-8 interdisciplinary resource, careers in context, hands-on, 4 C's, all the things that you just experienced here are available to you. Based on the UN Sustainable Goals, the grand challenges of engineering, Kyle will help you to access all of these. Real problem solving, having to do with local problems, not just global problems. And why should all this matter to your students? Because they can't be what they can't see. We have got to expose kids to opportunities, tools, apparatus, language of STEM. So real-world careers are embedded. We also have many, many different paths. I want to show you this as a fantastic video that I love that is in the STEM Careers Coalition, which is another resource you have access to. So here is a gentleman who took an alternative path to STEM, and what a powerful path it turned out to be. Enjoy this.
As a child, I played with a lot of Legos. I was a puzzle fanatic, Lego fanatic. I liked toy jets, toy cars. There was nothing you couldn't put in my hand that I didn't want to fix or try to fix anyway. Hi, I'm Brandon James, and I'm an aircraft assembly mechanic at Boeing. I work on the F-18. I think it's really cool. My brother's in the Navy, so I feel like I'm building something to protect not only my brother, but other families as well. When I get the aircraft, there's two different pieces. I take one piece, the forward, and then our back piece, which is called the aft. I splice them together. We add all these little middle pieces. It's like a puzzle. It's like Legos. You just connect and connect and connect until you have a full finished product. And until I'm done with my job, it is technically not an airplane. So once I finish splicing, that is when it's officially an aircraft. I love science, biology, chemistry. I took forensics, just being able to learn different ways to figure out something new. After high school, I did a year of college. Things got a little expensive, so I took a military route. I became a firefighter in the Air Force. I got out. Boeing had a community college course to be able to become an assembly mechanic. It's over 200.
Okay, I'm going to truncate that out of interest for time. And I want to say it has been a privilege to be with you. I want to just say to you that what it is you have access to now integrates with Clever, Google Classroom, anything that you need to integrate it with, we are here to support you to make that happen. I just have to show one more thing, which is really, really powerful. We just stop asking our kids what they want to be. The more important question is, what problems do you wish to solve? 15-second video.
The ocean would be very different without sharks. A shark is a magnificent creature to me. I learned about shark finning when I watched Shark Week. Shark finning is when you catch the shark, you cut off its fins and throw the rest of the body overboard. I felt really sad that people would even do that to a living creature. I wanted to do something about it. I wrote a letter to Representative Dave Ningle. In my letter, I asked to stop shark finning in Massachusetts. I was 7 years old. I was there that moment when the Senate voted, so I was really happy that it passed. I never thought so many people cared about shark finning. Making a difference feels amazing. If I can protect sharks, other people can too. My name is Sean Lesniak. Shark Week definitely changed my life.
Friends, thank you so much for the privilege of your time. Reach out if we can support you. Congratulations on your journey. I'm going to hand it over to Kyle Talavera, and he's going to chat with you very briefly about STEM Connect and some of the other resources. So Kyle, here you go.
Thank you, Dr. Corbin. And thank you everyone for being here. I will try to make it as entertaining as that, I promise. But I'm going to give kind of an overview of what Discovery Education is going to bring to the table here through this grant and beyond. So just give me 1 second here to hook up. And you'll probably see, this may freak Brandy out, I have 1 million emails and 1 million tabs, so I know that is a pet peeve of yours. Alrighty. Alrighty. So, Dr. Corbin, thank you for sharing with us what STEM can look like in Hardin County. And we're unbelievably excited to partner with Hardin County School District. And for me especially, Hardin County holds a special place in my heart, so I'm extra excited. So my name is Kyle Talavera. I'm the Education Partnership Manager for Kentucky. I also work in a few other states, but I actually live in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and family and in-laws here in Hardin County. So there we go. So what is Discovery Education going to bring to the table? What does this partnership mean? So first I want you to take a second and think about what inspired you to be a teacher. Was it a former teacher that you had growing up? Maybe it was a TV show with a classroom full of inspired students and an undoubtedly motivating teacher, and you wanted to be that teacher, Mr. Feeney. Maybe you're thinking, hey Kyle, my journey is not finished. I was just inspired by an article the other day and picked up a new hobby. Now I want you to think about that moment or collection of moments that inspired your path. Now take a moment to think about, what if you never had that moment? Where would you be? If you never had that teacher, never was exposed to that TV show, never able to read that article, or never met that person of inspiration. Teachers inspire, there's no doubt about that. And at Discovery Education, as Dr. Corbin mentioned, educators and students are at the center of everything we do. Our vision and mission is to empower you all to inspire your students and provide the resources so that they may have that moment. Maybe this moment comes through a virtual field trip. Maybe we take them to see the polar bears, or to DC and visit 7 different sites throughout DC. Or maybe next month we're releasing a brand new virtual field trip around why we serve. It's going to teach us the importance of military service through the celebration of Veterans Day. Maybe it's through a hands-on activity that Dr. Corbin talked about through STEM Connect that motivates the student to take action in their own community around environmental issues. Maybe it's through one of our corporate partnerships. Maybe it's the National Basketball Association or Major League Baseball. That helps the student understand you don't have to be an athlete to have a career within your favorite organization. Maybe you study turf management and you make the fields look absolutely beautiful. You make the ball bounce right. Maybe you're a statistician and you work for the National Basketball Association. Maybe you use the platform to expose your students to students from across the world, from different backgrounds, so that they understand they don't have to look like this or that. They don't have to be from here or there to make an impact or make their dreams a reality. Opportunities like this are available within Discovery Education. This partnership means that you will have resources for all subjects and all grade levels through our daily learning platform, Discovery Education Experience. There's over 200,000 multimodal resources that provide differentiation, opportunities for collaboration, and assessment, sorry. And my new favorite resource is the live quiz and video quiz feature. So no more shy Kyle sitting in class, not giving you feedback, not giving you an answer. Students can feel confident because they're anonymous, and you can get a full grasp of, do we need to move forward in our lesson today? Do I need to provide remediation? How can I fill that gap? You have that available to you. These resources are safe and age appropriate. They've been vetted. And usually top of mind for people that I talk to is they're timely, relevant, and highly engaging. So, quick video, I promise. Ooh.
With you, open doorways to learning with exciting real-world content, packaged with instructional strategies and built for your needs as an educator. Experience the ease of a personalized resource with a home screen that can be customized with channels curated for your subject area, grade level, and interests. Experience the inspiration with Studio, a space where teachers can design and assign highly engaging lesson activities. Experience the support every step of the way with embedded teaching resources, learning opportunities, and professional networking, all at your convenience and comfort level. Experience the wonder as you unlock the interests of every student and let them see the world in a whole new way. Take them to places that spark their imagination. Introduce them to people they never thought they'd meet. Open their minds to a world of possibilities. Bring excitement and relevancy to the topics you teach, ensuring all students have opportunities to unlock their true potential.
Alrighty. So, now within our platform, you'll have access to our science tech book. This is our standards-aligned, comprehensive science curriculum that provides dynamic digital resources and hands-on activities. And within Science Tech Book, we're going to drive curiosity through real-world storylines. And we want students to be entrenched in what they're learning, so we're going to make them the lead investigators, all the while supporting literacy and providing formative and summative checkpoints along the way. And then what Dr. Corbin was just speaking about, our STEM Connect. This is our K-8 resource that blends dynamic digital content with ready-to-use lessons and hands-on activities. This enhances the core curriculum and cultivates design thinking to prepare our students for the future.
How can we inspire every child to solve real-world challenges and prepare them with skills for their future? Introducing Discovery Education STEM Connect, an interdisciplinary K-8 resource which helps students realize that in every real challenge, there is real possibility. STEM Connect enhances core curriculum by weaving the 4 C's into a unique framework that progresses across subjects and grade levels, providing every child with opportunities to access their greatest potential. Students are engaged as citizens of their communities and as citizens of the world with great appropriate challenges. Younger students are faced with personal, local issues, where older students are pushed to solve complex global challenges. Students will also learn about STEM careers in context and connect the skills they are using to real work.
Alrighty, and I'm happy to share these videos, but for sake of time, I'm going to keep going here. So you're probably thinking, hey Kyle, this is great, but what about us? What about the teacher supports? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we're going to provide ongoing professional learning designed for our teacher leaders. And it's going to be delivered in combination of core learning sessions with embedded small group instruction so we can strengthen the knowledge, connection, and application of Discovery Education's instructional resources. We're going to pair group learning while using bite-sized online content to maximize teachers' ability to process their new skills and knowledge. This will create a continuous cycle of improvement so teachers have tools to implement in their classroom right away. Within the platform itself, Discovery Education teachers are also going to have lesson plans available to them. They're going to have spotlights on strategies, which are research-based strategies created by teachers and delivered by teachers through the platform. May this be literacy strategies, critical thinking strategies, you name it, they're in there. And then we have our Discovery Education Network community, which is a global community of passionate teachers and that share learning and teaching strategies as well. And you'll have the opportunity to connect with those folks as well within the platform. So I'm not going to show this video, but I'll follow up email with you, and I'll send it to you at that point, just for the sake of time, because I want to give Brandy some time to come up. So you also have my contact information. Please, my door is always open. Do not hesitate to contact me. And I just want to reiterate, over the next 5 years, you will have resources that empower you to inspire learning in the classroom through the Discovery Education Daily Learning Platform. You also have your core STEM and science resources, STEM Connect, and a science tech book. And then as we just spoke about, you'll have tailored professional learning and instructional support to drive and accelerate success in Hardin County School District. So, thank you all.
So if you teach, hold, go back. If you're teaching Hardin County, grab a picture of that. Yeah. Seriously, just, hey, especially our 4 schools with the grant. I mean, I'm giving them to them.
Yeah, and I'll follow up with an email as well, and you'll have it at that point.
So our 4 schools that are part of the grant, Woodland, Meadowview, JTA, and North, thanks for being here tonight, and everybody else. I'm the call to action piece, okay? So the way that we are thinking that, or the way that we are going to structure this over the next 5 years is in a train the trainer kind of model. There will be a STEM coach and then 3 teacher leads at each school, so 4 individuals that we're going to work more closely with, okay? Is it going to be extra time? Yes. But you are going to be the first line. Ms. Morgan used the word today that you were disciples. I would like to think that instead of just being disciples, you're going to be recruiting the disciples. Not to make the comparison there, but that you are going to be the first ones that we come to. You are going to get the information and the job embedded coaching, that you are going to help us to build that culture of STEM in the building. You will be the ones, the leaders, okay, that are helping us to get that out there. And that's what I would like any of the teachers that are in the room tonight, please There is the bit.ly for the application. If your, picture's fuzzy or whatnot, I'm Brandy with the Y, new, with my last name. Please send me an email or talk to your principal about it. If you have questions on the application, there's a rundown of what is kind of expected of you. But if you're like, Brandy, and you just need to talk it out and you're not even sure if you want to apply or what it looks like, give me a yell. Principal, same thing. I've already been kind of talked to North Middle, and Jeff gave me some time, and then I got to talk to anybody who had a question in the building that day. I've done some talking at Alton, Carrie's team. If you guys need me, give me a yell, and we'll talk it out now, and then you can spend tons of time with me over the next few years making this happen together, okay? So please, I encourage you to apply, especially if you're here. Are we done? Is that it?
We have 2 minutes to spare, so.
Because that food was good, and I was sitting heavy on you now. So, and also to our community members, thank you all so much for being here.
Absolutely.
If you hadn't noticed, we're coming for you because community is a piece of that. So we're not done with you yet. We'll be back soon.
Everybody be safe and well, drive safe. Thank you again.
Thank you.